So the Lion King is finally here. Whether we wanted it or not, Disney seems to really love their live action movies right now. So I feel like we're going to keep getting them for some time. So I wasn't sure what to expect from the Lion King. Initially, I was very concerned with Aladdin coming up because of how much I loved the original Aladdin, and then Aladdin was fantastic. So I was super relieved with this one. And then the Lion King, I'm like, they can't mess up the Lion King. I have complete faith in them, especially from the trailer with the CGI. It just looked incredible. So I had very high hopes going to this movie that at least it will be as good as the original and not really let me down. So going into this film, there is no denying that the CGI is unbelievable. It is so incredibly realistic. Just the lions, their facial features, their hair, it's amazing. All the other animals, the environment, how they're showing the sun, the trees, like the texture. The CGI is amazing. It is so good. No budget was wasted on the CGI. And if anything is taken away from this film, it's just CGI has come so incredibly far. And you can make animals look so realistic without needing to use an actual animal, without pushing animals through performances that they don't need to do. So I give so many props to the people that worked on this film and were responsible for the CGI, because just wow. Also, I'm hoping they still gave props to the people who did the anime from the 1994 edition of The Lion King, because there are some scenes that still look like they were just copied from the original. So I'm hoping, while CGI they deserve so much kudos, they also gave it to the original. But with saying that the CGI is incredible and it's so incredibly lifelike, the problem with CGI being that lifelike and being that lifelike about how the animals work, it meant that a lot of the animals lacked emotion. So what I mean by that is, you can obviously tell that Scar is the bad one because he has a scar, he looks dirty, he looks rugged, he just doesn't look healthy. And I'm not saying if you're sick you're evil or anything, it's just you can clearly show like he is meant to be bad, like that is what they're going for, that there was a reason he was thrown out and that he has to take care of himself, and he's obviously not doing that. Where Mufasa, he is just, the word is gold. Like, he has this amazing mane, his fur looks gold and well taken care of, like you can tell he's the king. So they did such an incredible job showing basically the yin and yang of these two characters, but they don't really do a great job showing the emotions of said characters when they're arguing, when it's that pivotal moment of long live the king, when Scar is betraying Mufasa. Of course they weren't going to change that, they were always going to keep that. But in the first one you can see the malicious attitude of Scar just from his facial expression. You can see the betrayal of Mufasa, that his brother would do this to him. And this film just doesn't show that at all. When it's clear that Mufasa is dead and Simba runs over to him like, "Dad, no, wake up." Like, Simba doesn't have that same rip out your heart and jump on it kind of emotion written on his face. Clearly he is upset because you just lost your father. Like, you can clearly tell they're upset just based on what is happening and what they're saying, but it's just the emotion is clearly lacking. And this is not just for the lions, it's for any of the characters. But but they were just the pivotal moment. I was waiting to bawl my eyes out Mufasa because obviously I did that growing up as a child. And this one I'm just like it doesn't feel the same. I just feel like it's the circle of life, like eventually lions die, that's just what happens. And I just felt more realistic, like it's just the life of the lion. But other than the emotions lacking, the CGI is still beautiful as you travel along with Simba and obviously Timon and Pumbaa. When he runs into them, it's still kind of replicated, but this time they brought more animals into kind of that group that you meet. And all of them are just so realistically done about how they move, how they climb, especially like Timon. He is so different. In the original, he was always on his hind legs walking as if he was a human, where this one he's like on all fours, he's crawling around, he's doing like mannerisms that animal would do. And it's just wonderful. It's so wonderful how they've done it. But again, they are lacking the emotions. Like in the original, when they're singing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight," you see that they look sad because they are losing their friend. Where this one, they're just singing. They don't look sad. They don't look happy. They don't really look anything. The same when Nala and Simba are reunited. You can tell they're happy because they're nuzzling each other, but again, that emotion is not showing on their face. So I feel like even though the CGI was just amazing, it's lost a lot of that emotional impact that the first one brought. Moving on, voice acting is another issue I slightly have with this film. Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner, they were fantastic as Timon and Pumbaa. You can tell that they were in the recording studio working together. They had great chemistry in their characters. They do change a little bit from the first one, but overall, this is still the same friendship we have came to know and love. They still sing Hakuna Matata. And they make a joke about from the original when they were like singing along with Simba growing up. They referenced that, so that was actually really good. So I really enjoyed Seth Rogen and Billy together. They were wonderful. Young Nala and young Simba, they did such a great job, especially when they were doing the performance of Can't Wait to Be King. So I really enjoyed them. I'm horrible with his name. I'm so sorry. Scar is played by Let me just skip over that name. He is fantastic in this. I'm so sorry I suck at pronouncing names. But he is fantastic. I'm so glad they decided to Be Prepared in the movie. So he did a wonderful job singing Be Prepared, but they did change it slightly, so it is different from the first one. But his performance is still fantastic. It kind of made me hate Scar a little bit more in this one, just because of, like, even though the emotion wasn't shown in the face, you could tell he was being more manipulative, where in the first one I was kind of taken aback that happened. Zazu, of course, was fantastic. I always love Zazu. I was a little disappointed with the hyenas. In the first one, you only have the 3 hyenas, and basically they're just stupid and laughing. So in this one, they gave them more of a role, like they are more kind of scary and there's more of them because obviously hyenas kind of hunt in a pack. But hyenas got their name because they do that laugh, and they kind of got rid of it in this movie, which I thought was really weird because 2 of the people they cast are known for being extremely funny. So you got Eric Andre and Keegan-Michael Kay. So they are both hilarious in their own right. Eric Andre is a little insane. If you've ever seen the Eric Andre show, I would say check out for some of his humor, but no one really should be put through that. But Um, he is funny. He is a good comedian, and I was excited to see him as a hyena and kind of just laughing ridiculously. The same with Keegan. They were working together in the studio. They showed behind the scenes of that. So I was expecting more of them just to bounce off each other, but basically all the jokes we had is just about personal space. And while like it's a good message to children, like respect someone's personal space, it's not funny. Like the hyenas were really wasted on that, especially when like it's just an animal thing. Like you've got Timon and Pumbaa all over each other. You got Simba and Nala all over each other, and then these ones are just like, oh, you're staying too close to me. Ha ha ha, that's so funny. Like, they're both really great comedians, and it was just so wasted on them. Another voice actor that was wasted was Beyonce with Nala. I love Nala, and I'm glad they gave Nala more to do in this film. They explained why she was out and how she ran into Simba, where they kind of skipped over that in the first one. But Beyonce is not a great voice actress. I know she's a singer, but she just didn't have any emotional range as Nala. She didn't sound excited. She didn't sound sad. Like, she just had no emotion. It was very monotone. So I feel like they did Beyonce in this film because they wanted her on the soundtrack and they wanted to promote her in this, but she did not suit this film. And the song that they wrote, that I think she actually wrote specifically for the movie, the song's actually really disappointing. So the original song was basically just an instrumental, and now she's put lyrics to it. And the lyrics aren't good. It sounds like she's half asleep, just kind of singing along as if she's in the shower or something. It's not a good song at all. And the amount of money they were paid Beyonce, it was very wasted in this film. Simba was voiced by Donald Glover. I really like Donald Glover, but I honestly forgot he was voicing Simba. And the whole time watching the movie, I'm like, who is this? Who's voicing him? So while he did do a good job voicing adult Simba, I completely forgot who it was. And they honestly could have got anyone, and I would have still felt the same towards Simba, because he's obviously the lead. You obviously care about Simba. You obviously know his story, that he's going to return to Pride Rock, that he's going to defeat Scar. Like, Simba is the Lion King, and they could have got anyone. Donald Glover did a great job. I just completely forgot it was him. And of course, the king, Mufasa, was voiced once again by James Earl Jones. I'm so glad they brought him back, because I could not imagine anyone else being that voice. I'm just so happy they brought him back. Not only for nostalgia purposes, because I grew up with the original Lion King, but I just feel like there was just no one else. And I feel like even the new generation getting into it are really going to appreciate how good his voice is. So that covers the CGI, emotions, voice acting. The storyline, I don't want to go into too much depth about how they made it different, other than like what they did with the hyenas. There is one thing at the end where it's a bit different. It's good that they made it different, because they gave more role to the characters that in the original didn't have much to do, such as the lioness. But because of adding more to it, and because of how realistic the animals now look now, it actually comes across as kind of more vicious. I'm like, is this really appropriate for children to be watching? Because it seemed more animal on animal kind of attack, which I know is the whole premise, and especially with you're always going to have Simba and Scar fight. But I just feel like because of how much the fight escalated, it was just a little bit darker for children compared to the original. So yes, if you were considering going to see The Lion King and you weren't sure how it was going to compare, I definitely recommend checking it out. It is a really good movie. The CGI I've spoken about forever in this review, but it's amazing. The voice acting is lacking. They definitely could have utilized them a little bit more, and they definitely could have saved some money by not getting Beyonce. The music, other than the new song that Beyonce did, all the other music is still really good. Some of them do have slight differences, but nothing major where the song is ruined. They're still really fun to sing along to. So I highly recommend going to check it out. I feel like this is a movie that I would watch once and just go back to the original. While the CGI is gorgeous, it just didn't have that same emotion. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and just want to show off my earrings too. The little Simba earrings, if you can see them. So, thank you. I'm not sure what the next movie I'm going to see is going to be, but hopefully it's as good as the last 3 movies I've seen. So, once again, thank you for watching, and like, comment, subscribe, and also comment and tell me what your favorite movie has been so far this year, because I'm thinking of doing the top 10 worst and best movies so far. So, thank you. Bye.